Good evening to you all. You're watching this news hour with the News Ampini. I'm Gitana. Thank you for joining us and do stay tuned. Ethiopian ambassador to US, Seleshi Bekele, had a productive conversation with the US congressman in chair of US House Foreign Relations Committee, Gregory Mix. Ambassador Seleshi briefed Chairman Mix on the progress and challenges regarding humanitarian assistance for conflict and natural disaster affected areas, peace building, economic sector strides, among others. He further elaborated on the need to remove the blockade from AGOA, HR 600 and SR 2199 bills, the recent attempt of Al-Shabaab terrorist group. Meanwhile, Chairman Mix, on his part, expressed his encouragement by the positive progress achieved in the area of humanitarian access, ceasefire, peace building, and national dialogue related issues. He also echoed the need to transform the historic relations between two countries into increased trade and economic cooperation. And Rotary International called upon all universities to invite people to get into a platform for volunteerism so that people can bring out their best to the society. Rotary is a voluntary global network of over 1.4 million people and bound together with the common objective of coming up with a lasting solution with people in various problems in the communities across the globe. Talking to ETV, Azev Asrat, governor for Rotary International in Eritrea, Ethiopia, South Sudan, and Kenya, the challenge of volunteerism remains immense. Let's take a look at it.
Rotary International is a volunteer global network of over 1.4 million people bound together with the common objective of coming up with lasting solutions with people in various problems in the communities across the globe. Rotary was established in 1905 in the United States, Chicago, to take advantage of business people and professionals and help one another. Talking to ETV, Azev Asrat, governor for Rotary International in Eritrea, Ethiopia, South Sudan, and Kenya since 2013, disclosed that volunteerism is not a one-time effort, adding it involves investing money, time, and knowledge.
In Ethiopia, volunteerism or living together, sharing and caring has always been the motto of our life. So volunteerism, it's not a short time. Volunteerism comes from the heart. If it comes from the heart, it's going to be long-standing within you. It's not always money. It's your time, it's your knowledge, it's your skills. Whatever you acquire, if you can be able to pass to others, that's volunteerism. Yeah. The young, they need us. And we need the young. That's where the link is in Rotary.
Asrat also explained the challenges and remedies of a leader in a vast institution like the Rotary.
When you are leading volunteers without, expecting anything in return, probably the return will be in skills, in education, in experience, in other capacities like communication, training, capacity building. All this will come together as a benefit. But there is no monetary terms which is attached to volunteerism because there will be no pay, no salary. You use your time, your energy, your resources yourself. So as a result, when you lead volunteers, the challenge is that you have to be accommodating in terms of their time, their resources, and you have to make sure that there is a good understanding between the two of you how you want the work to progress.
The governor called upon all universities to invite people to get into a platform for volunteerism so that people can contribute their best.
I must say that universities, colleges should use the knowledge that we have brought back home, to invite us, to get us into the platforms so that we can contribute better. Because it's not only me. There are many, my friends, my colleagues, Rotarians at the senior level who are sitting there. So for Ethiopia, what I really dream is that we as volunteers, naturally, we should be more effective in passing our knowledge to our future generation.
Welcome back. You're watching at this news hour, and now moving to another news. Minister of Women and Social Affairs Ergoge Tesfaye held talks with Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment of India Virendra Kumar in New Delhi in India. Ergoge commended the Indian government's support in education system of Ethiopia and all the continuous academic scholarship opportunities provided to Ethiopian students. She also expressed her gratitude to the Indian government's support in vaccine provision to Ethiopia and other African countries during the difficult time of COVID-19. Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment of India, Virendra Kumar, for his part, appreciated the various cooperation and collaboration so far established between India and Ethiopia. Virendra commended the Ethiopian government's policies towards gender issues and appreciated the growing number of women in Ethiopian parliaments and the cabinets. And in our business segment, an economist painted a rather bright picture of Ethiopia's macroeconomic performance. Talking to ETV here today, a seasoned economic scholar, Asmamaw Qalamework, said Ethiopia is on the right track given the challenge it has been facing. He disclosed that Ethiopia's economy has registered a decade of rapid and stable growth. Kasaon Chane tells us more.
Ethiopia recently announced a remarkable export performance this past year, marked by better foreign direct investment flow, decrease in inflation and past months, optimal green legacy, volunteer activities, remittance and automation performance. Ethiopia's export revenue jumped by 3.81% to $4.12 billion, while remittances inflow surpassed the annual target and reached $4.2 billion last year.
The Ethiopian situation at present, Ethiopia had been perpetrated with so many complex problems, including drought, inflation, economic downturns, and all these things, with war in different forms, in different ways, economic sabotage in many different ways. But in all this, within all these problems, the performance of the macroeconomic performance in Ethiopia is seen in a very positive way. It has shown a growth rate of something like 6% and also the import-export situation, the balance of payment situation, and also the way the monetary reserve situation in Ethiopia, even the employment rate at present, and the financial position that Ethiopia is really in a very positive way.
Last year's overall better performance helped the economy to create at least 2.3 million new jobs. However, inflation continues to pose a major challenge to the macroeconomy. Authorities say inflation has been decelerating since June, during which it dropped to 34% from 37.2% in May. Looking at the nation's performance in affecting a reasonably import-export balance and expediting development, Kalamark further recommended that these achievements be replicated in other sectors as well.
At present, there are 12 African countries that cannot pay their civil servants at present. In such situation, Ethiopia is really doing developmental work, is paying these civil servants, it is due salaries, and also the import-export balance and the export performance is in a very good manner. I mean, it's in a very good way, because the situation now is in a very precarious, the war is going on, the terrorist organizations in different ways, the economic sabotage ways, the contraband performance in different ways, the economic embargoes and
sabotage as well.
Yeah, economic sabotage and economic embargoes that has been done by Western countries is not a simple issue. It's really very serious one. But in all these perspectives, Ethiopia, I think, is doing a very good performance.
Still, consumer price growth remains high, with the COVID pandemic and Russia-Ukraine conflict-related challenges adding risks to price hikes in fuel, edible oil and fertilizer supply line. According to the Ministry of Planning and Development, Ethiopia's inflation problem has been building up for a long period of time, mainly due to low productivity and lack of competitiveness in the market.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said Ethiopia is to host African Technology Fair next month from September 7 to 9, 2022. The Public Diplomacy Director General at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dina Mufti, briefed the media on the objective of significance of the fair. He added solar energy, electric vehicles, digital payment system, telecommunication, banking and insurance services are among the sector prioritized by the fair. Foreign companies engaged in cybersecurity, biotechnology, solar energy and communication sector will showcase their products and services on the fair, as more than 45,000 people are expected to visit the event.
Ethiopia is implementing a green legacy initiative over the past 3 years. The nation target is to plant over 20 billion young trees across the country. This project invites neighboring countries like Eritrea, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, and Kenya.
Ethiopia's microeconomy remains hopeful despite many challenges. ETV English will look into this in greater details through fresh stories and news analysis. Coming to you this August.
In August, top stories on Addis News Hour. After the conflict in the northern parts of Ethiopia, the TPLF is preparing another wage of war against Ethiopia. ETV Language is discussing these matters with professionals, experts, politicians, even government officials. We brought this information on Addis News Hour. Stay tuned to ETV Languages.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now moving to another news. The general election were held in Kenya on August 9, 2022. Voters elected the president, member of the National Assembly and Senate, county governors and members of the 47 county assemblies in Kenya. The general election in Kenya are held after every 5 years. Veteran Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto are in tight race for president's spot, as per Kenya's national television reports. Tigist Nessa reports the following story.
On August 9, Kenyans have headed to the polls, and preliminary results from the Kenya's presidential election showed a tight race between the two main candidates vying to replace the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta, with citizens praying an announcement of a winner would not unleash violence as in years past. The Tuesday election is an important test for the stability of East African region, where two of the last three elections led to bloodshed and dispute over accusations of rigging. Tuesday's polls were largely peaceful, although police said they were hunting a legislator who shot dead a rivalry's aide outside a polling station. In the northern town of Eldas, where clashes prevented elections on Tuesday, poll stations opened peacefully on Wednesday, election officials noted. The presidential frontrunners, Deputy President William Ruto and veteran opposition leader Raila Odinga, are in a close race, results tabulated by the Kenyan media showed. Now the burning question remains who will be Kenya's next president, the hustler-in-chief or the veteran Baba politician. The challenges for the incoming president will be the soaring food and fuel prices due to the Russia-Ukraine war, high youth unemployment rate, in post-pandemic stagnation, a change in leadership brought forth in a more critical time for Kenyans. It was learned that in Kenyan constitution, it was stated that in 7 days' time, the declaration of the results will be verified to the general public.
And finally, the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia has received 24 armored personnel carriers to boost its obligations to degrade Al-Shabaab and to protect civilians and critical infrastructure. The donation is expected to raise the capacity of the mission and alleviate the security problem in Somalia. Habtam Washagre compiled the following story.
The African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMIS, has just received a delivery of 24 armored personnel carriers to boost its obligations of combating the Al-Shabaab in Somalia. These specialized vehicles will be used by the Djiboutian contingent in joint military operations with the Somali National Army in and around Beledweyne and other areas in the Hiran region. Handing over the APCs at ATMIS headquarters in Mogadishu, U.S. Ambassador to Somalia Larry Andre reiterated Washington's support to efforts aimed at bringing peace and stability in Somalia and the greater Horn of African region.
For delivery of 24 APCs, this delivery will assist Somalia in the fight against violent extremists. We know that this equipment will make a difference in Sector 4 to increase pressure on Al-Shabaab in line with the plans of His Excellency the President of Somalia. And of course, in keeping with the ATMIS transition plan, which will see a steady increase in handover responsibilities to Somali forces.
The ambassador added the donation of vehicles helps African Union forces to protect unexpected explosions by avoiding dangerous explosive devices in various roads in Somalia. Andre underscored the delivery of the 24 armored personnel carriers will see Somalia enhance the fight against violent extremists. Receiving the vehicles on behalf of the mission, the Deputy Special Representative of the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Fiona Lortan, for her part said the military hardware had arrived at an opportune time at ATMIS was reconfiguration its troops and equipment.
On behalf of the African Union, on behalf of its membership, on behalf of all the ATMIS TCCs, including Djibouti, but including all the others, because this is a collective effort. ATMIS is a collective effort of solidarity and support to the Somali people. I would like to thank you. I'd like to thank the government and people of the US for their generosity and for their steadfastness in supporting our presence in Somalia from the beginning.
Over the years, Al-Shabaab has engaged EU troops and Somalian National Army soldiers in asymmetric warfare, especially through the laying of improvised explosive devices on main supply routes and built-up locations.
Here are now the recap of the top stories once again. An economist says Ethiopia's macroeconomic achievement is on the right track.